Click, click, click. Burnout!
Oh, brother.
Did you guys like that one? Thought of that in the moment. It was either that or...
like that wasn't obvious.
It was either that or me impersonating like a screeching tire when you're like really flooring the gas, but you want to sit there and just...
Now, for those of us back in the day, a burnout would have been, oh man, I'm not feeling it today. That was a burnout. Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about.
But... Anyway,
I should put a trademark on that.
Burnout in Dungeons and Dragons or gaming as a whole. It's a very common thing.
And we had somebody contact us. It was one of our Patreon subscribers.
It was.
And they said, hey, a video that I would love to see is how you guys deal with burnout in your game, which is something that we've all experienced.
It is.
I've had it happen a lot over the years.
Somebody really does have an issue sometimes with burnout. Quite often, and he's very vocal about it. Starts to mope. I just don't know, guys. It's just maybe not. I just don't want to do it. I can't handle it right now. But give it a couple weeks, and he just rips through that, and then he comes stormed in the door one day. I've got so many ideas. So it is possible to fight back against burnout and turn it around. And this fella is example number 1 of why that's the case. So
someone exaggerates a shade.
No, I do in general, but that's not an exaggeration.
No, of course not.
You know it.
No, of course not.
So we're going to talk today about some of the tactics that we use to fight burnout in gaming.
Yes. It was a very appropriate email that we got. Because at the time I was burned out on the adventure that was currently running in my campaign.
Yes.
And keep in mind, this campaign has been running for 4 decades plus. So
it's like reading Lord of the Rings for 40 years.
Right, and never getting to the end, and always, turning the page and there's something else to be done.
Yeah.
Well, you reach a stage where, number one, players get burned out because they've been basically using the same toolkit, i.e. their characters, for months, if not years.
Yeah.
And sorry, but that can be a little bit boring. I don't care how exciting the game is or how interesting the dungeon master makes the game. You can still get just a little tired of having to use the same character to accomplish pretty much the same ends, the same long-term goals.
Especially in fantasy, where you really have anything that you can possibly imagine available to you.
Right.
It's like the purest form of storytelling. If you can think of it, it's something that's possible.
And as a dungeon master,
a DM,
or GM, however you want to call it, either in fantasy role-playing or Adventures in Space, whatever you might be looking at.
Which is rebranded fantasy.
You can get burned out from the players.
Yeah, because sometimes they suck.
They do. And you might have come up with all these really great things that they can go and pursue, and the environment that you have created and the different storylines that they can follow, and they end up just wanting to go fishing. It's so you can get burned out as a DM because you think, hey, I've put all this work into this and you guys really just aren't up to the task of doing the cool things that I've put in there or finding the cool things.
And it's not necessarily even not up to the task. It may just be
it's not. They just
you want to go a different route, Marcus, than the campaign that has been painstakingly crafted.
And that's not always a bad thing.
No.
It's just that
it can be frustrating.
It can be frustrating.
In your mind, something really, really cool, and then that thing just doesn't happen at all.
And you don't want to railroad people into doing what you have set up. I usually have 4, maybe 5 different avenues to get to the adventure that I have created. So there is agency to get there. But sometimes it just doesn't work. Anyway, that can lead to Dungeon Master burnout. You get tired of creating things within the same box, and so you need to have a change yourself. So players need to change. DM needs to change. Everybody needs to change, leads to burnout. How do you deal with it?
Step 1.
Well, I think that there is not just necessarily a step. There are just different options.
Option 1. Toughen up.
Fair enough.
Stop being a weenie.
Yeah.
You're here to play a game. I'm just kidding. That's not.
Yeah, that really doesn't work. One of the things that we have found over the years, the easiest one is just to say, hey, we're not going to play for a while.
Yep.
you get away from that way. You're mentally taking a break from all the things that you've been focused on, all the things that you've been trying to get your character to do, or wanting your character to do, or wanting your players to do. You just step away and don't play any kind of a role-playing game for a while. Usually we would replace that with some type of a board game, that's our standard go-to.
Yeah.
And there are no end of board games out there to fill that need. So
if you want some recommendations, ask us.
Yeah, we have a lot.
We have immaculate board game taste as well.
We really do.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the first go-to. Just stop playing. The second thing that I will very often do,
option 2,
is I will switch genres or theming.
Yeah.
So we will go from, in fact, right now we have made the jump from Dungeons and Dragons. Some of you may have watched our other videos. We're in Gamma World right now.
Yeah.
And I think that there has been a definite change in attentiveness, in creativity on behalf of the players, because it's a brand new situation.
And as much as I'm enjoying Gamma World and the campaign that we have there, it has the gap in Dungeons and Dragons has gotten me excited to go back and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Yeah.
It's absence makes the heart grow fonder,
Indeed.
as you might have heard. But yeah, so change to a different game that's not another fantasy role playing game, but something that if you're used to swords and sorcery, go to lasers and thermite bombs, because you're going to be approaching things in a different way, and you get a different set of mental images that are fun.
There's a whole smorgasbord of settings out there you can choose from.
We've gone, some of the other things we've gone to, I run a game called Cowboys and Vampires. And it's exactly what it sounds like. We took Boot Hill and put a bunch of undead into it.
It's awesome.
And so we can jump into that. And some of these games that I have made up, the players don't take them as seriously because they know that... but not as seriously as I need to establish my castle in my whatever.
Not as invested in the long-term.
That's it.
Storyline.
Right.
Of
these are more 1 week, 1 month, couple month games,
yeah.
And then generally we move on to something else.
Yeah.
But those can be a lot of fun.
Oh, well, fantastic time. We have a great time with those.
So there are no end of those out there, and if you don't have access to a game of your own, an adventure in space game or a cowboy game, just make one up.
Yeah.
They're really not hard to do. Just take the rule set of whatever you happen to be using and drop it into a different setting.
It's especially easy if you take a D20 rule system, like Top Secret.
D100. You mean.
D100. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
that's very just like percentage based.
Yeah.
Because those rule books are usually a lot smaller, and you can just kind of replace the weapons for the rules.
It works really well. So yeah, find yourself a percentage based system and just run with that and make your own game. And as a DM, that's going to stimulate your creativity, not just in terms of the genre or the milieu, the genre that you put players into, but also you're going to have to come up with new stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yes.
So there's that. There's just play a completely different type of game.
I think that was option 3.
Okay, that's option 3.
I don't remember. I haven't been counting.
You get up above 2 and I have a hard time.
Let us know.
Anyway, next thing that we have often done is within the system that you're playing. So if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons or some other fantasy role-playing game, we set the characters that everybody has been using for the past however months or years. We take them and set them aside. And I have the players roll up brand new characters and give them a specific task that they have to go and do. So we're not talking sandbox stuff. We're talking you're on a train and you're going to get from point A to point D and go. This gives me the chance as the game master. This gives me the chance to come up with something really creative, and the players know that they are going to have to finish this because it's a limited time adventure. But it really sometimes ramps up their creativity because they know that there are X number of obstacles before they get to the end goal, but they know they have to get to that end goal, and that's really how that game is going to work for the next 2 or 3 months. Yeah. So sometimes people really step up when I do that.
Because I think I have, in your world right now, 4 characters, technically, that are alive and kicking around somewhere.
I can think of 3.
Main one, the one that died in the sewers, got resurrected.
Did he?
Yeah.
You're right, he did. Right, they took him to that elf. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
The Baramaze and... The one in the monastery.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there's 4 right now, and they're all different. They're all very different characters, and they all are doing a unique thing. Whether or not they'll all be revisited, that's another conversation.
Right.
But they being able to play all of those different types of people makes it more interesting for me as well, because I love the main character that I have in his world. I hope that he never ever dies.
And that's your default character.
Yeah, there's like we all have a primary one that we go back to, because I've been playing him since I was 12, so like a decade, over a decade now. And being able to jump around is nice, because then if I am burnt out, leave for a little while and then hop right back in and keep doing stuff with him.
Well, and I think that's important, because I will kill your character. I don't care how long you've been playing it. I will kill your character if you make the wrong decision. And if the players are burned out, the decision-making process becomes more, shall we say, loose. And so I would just as soon have you set your loved character aside and get the burnout out of your system by playing another character that could die, rather than have you risk bad playing and getting your favorite character killed. Not to say, I won't pull any punches. I will kill your character, but I just not that I want that to happen. That's the thing.
This guy. Last thing that I can think of, this is another one. I mean, I typically I've never DM'd with the group that I play with him, because I'm scared to. But I do DM with some of my friends that I play with. Not to say that the people I play with are my friends, that's not what I'm insinuating. But the people that I know and who are more my age, I DM for a lot of the D&D that we play. So being able to hop back and forth between being a player and being a dungeon master, if that's something you're interested in, because not everybody wants to be a DM. It's kind of a tough thing to do. And it's a lot more work. But if that's something you like, then going and doing that, you look at the game in a whole new way, from a whole new perspective.
So you're saying that just going from player to
DM, yeah. If you're tired of doing one, do the other one for a while. See if there's somebody else who wants to DM or somebody else who wants to play instead of you. Yeah, just having that variation in how you look at the game and how you look at kind of these worlds that are being created, that can do a lot in terms of getting you excited about doing the other thing as well.
I think that's true, and I've done that quite a few times with Bill.
Yeah.
I've had enough of trying to run the game, and so I just won't DM for 6 months, and I'll just have a character that I play in somebody else's campaign.
Yeah.
And you just get to relax a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And so I think that does make a huge difference. Yeah. Seeing that different perspective. Yeah. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So those are just some ideas of the way that we have dealt with burnout. And I think that, to sum it up, it's really just getting a different perspective.
Yeah.
And or either leaving the situation or getting a different perspective of the situation. I think that either of those is going to help you to continue to play. One of the things that I would recommend against is if you turn to a board game. There are a lot of quasi-role-playing board games. Don't do that. No. Just completely set the role-playing thing aside.
In part because the role-playing board games suck.
I've found a couple that aren't bad.
They suck.
I found a couple that aren't bad. But I would say, regardless, set those aside. Yeah. And just go straight for, play Monopoly. There are so many new board games out that they have really interesting detail. They're a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things that need to be overcome in order to win. It's a real thinking
very
situation.
Different settings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say though, but just stay away from role-playing board games.
Gloomhaven. Don't play Gloomhaven.
Definitely stay away from that.
But yeah, lots of good stuff out there. If you want board game recommendations, if you are interested in us making a video about board game recommendations,
we need to do more videos on board games.
Yeah, because we
have a lot of cool board games.
When we first started the channel, we did quite a few, and nobody liked them. But if you want to see them now, we'd love to talk about them.
Yep, let us know.
Yeah.
So,
everybody...
Dealing with burnout.
Dealing with burnout, very important. Everybody comment down below. Jim...
What do you do?
Don't get burnt out. So the next time he gets burnt out, he'll have some inspiration. Thanks for watching.
If you like this content, please consider subscribing to us on Patreon.
Yes.
You can join up for $1, $4, or $6 a month.
Yes.
Or you can join it for 2 months and then stop joining it for 2 months, just to give us a couple bucks here and there.
Yes.
It helps us to maintain the channel and continue with wonderful content like this. I've got a feeling, I just don't...
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. I think that I don't feel like this is our top content here.
For the Burnout video?
Yes.
Why?
I'm burned out. See what I did there? I just... I'm not even sure.
So thank you all so much for watching. If you do subscribe to the Patreon, you'll be getting a couple extra bonus videos just for you a month, and various other posts, polls. You can have some input on the things that we make on the channel, and you can have a little bit more of a direct line of communication with us if you would like to. So go ahead and check that out. But thank you so much for watching. Hope that you guys don't get burnt out. I'm Alex.
I'm Jim.
Keep your sword on free.
Bye-bye.
See ya.